All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another powerful episode of the Rise Urban Nation podcast, the show where we elevate Black and Pan African voices who are transforming lives, building legacies, and leading with purpose. I'm your host, Taryell Simmons, and today we're diving into a conversation that's all about purpose, healing, and walking in divine alignment. I was just telling my guests, we probably should. This is a Saturday we're recording this on, but I told her we probably should have recorded it on a Sunday with the testimony she about to give us today. Oh, let me give you a little background. My guest today is a woman of faith, a published author, and an incredible encourager, Miss Charmaine. And I didn't get the correct pronunciation of your last name. Give me the pronunciation of your last name, because I don't want to. I don't want to mess it up for the people.
Casimir.
Casimir, and she's the founder of Powerful Petals and the Empowerment Journey Ministry. And she's on a mission to help people uncover their God-given purpose. Whether you're a creative, a community leader, or someone just making sense of your next step, this episode is for you. Charmaine, welcome to the show. And let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Tell us about your journey and what brought you into the work you're doing today. Because I can only imagine what the testimony behind that will help somebody else find their purpose.
What started me off was my own journey of insecurity and not feeling enough, not feeling worthy, and 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 feeling that way. I knew that my heart was always beating for people that I felt the same way I felt. So that's the people I was drawn to. The people that may not feel so great about themselves. They're not sure, you know, if they have anything important about them, if they are enough. And so I started off I always had a thing for people. So my thing would, if I see somebody was sitting alone or something, that was the people that I would go to. That were my people. My people who felt like they was the outsiders, not so important or whatever. So that's how I started off, because my own insecurity, not feeling seen or insignificant. I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I knew I loved God and I knew God. But the funny part was I knew he loved me, but I didn't know that it was anything special about me. I thought I was just, I'll just be a wife, a mother. I guess, that's good enough. I'm supposed to be that. I'm supposed to be good at that too. But then God showed me more that, yeah, you are supposed to do that and do that well. But I have something waiting for you. Something else put inside of you that I never knew I had.
And I want to unpack that a little bit more, because I resonate with that on many different levels. When you were saying that, I'm thinking about my time as a young adult, right? I before I knew what because before we had jumped on, we was talking about Philly, right? And all of the great things that happen out of Philly, the people who making positive impact, Wallow and Gilly and them. But I'm also reminiscent of, we talked a little bit about the how Philly sometimes get a bad rap because they always, showcase the folks that are wilding out, right? And them young boys that be wilding out. And I used to be one of them, and I didn't know then what I know now about the school to prison pipeline, and how that often left me feeling like I was never enough of anything, right? Going through the school system, I was labeled as a kid with ADHD. I was told I was too slow, wasn't smart enough to do anything. I should be put in the slow classes. I don't belong here. I don't belong there. And it leaves you in this space of like, okay, I'm not enough. And so, and sometimes when I hear you giving your testimony, your story, I had those same feelings start to come. I was like, oh man, I know what that's like. What led you to feeling like, in that state of mind? Like, what are some of those circumstances you think that contributed to it?
That got me to feel that I wasn't enough?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think probably the fact that because I was quiet. Sometimes when you're quiet, you kind of get pushed aside because you're like
Mm.
I wasn't drawing the attention. So,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was always, try to be a good girl, as I would say. You know what I mean? I was raised in church, so I was trying to do the right things. So
Mhm.
when I was around my family, everybody around me was doing all kind of stuff. So I felt like everybody was getting the attention, and
Mm.
kind of like sitting in the background. When I was in school, I didn't, I was shy, so I wasn't easily, the center of attention. So I felt like people didn't see me. I had actually experience where I was in high school and somebody asked me, they was like, I didn't know you was in our class. I said, I've been going to school with you for 4 years. I,
Wow.
how do you coop that and say, I'm that insignificant? You never even noticed I was here that whole time?
Mhm.
Sometimes,
Mhm.
I realized like being bullied and stuff is a hard thing. But when I
Yeah.
thought about, well, what about when you're just not seen or you just
Mm.
feel insignificant? Um, that's sometimes I feel like even worse when you're not even seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I can only imagine that. So what was like kind of the breakthrough for you, that transition point that really helped you come out of your shell?
Well, help me come out of my shell. The thing is, it was funny because I've always helped other people. I always seen the value in other people, which was the funniest thing. I was always
Mhm.
showing them, you have purpose. We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. I mean, that was my thing. I was going to find your purpose. Don't tell me you weren't good at something. We're gonna figure out what it was, and that was my
Mhm.
thing. And for myself, though, I didn't see that. It was kind of crazy when you think about it. But after
Mhm.
I started, the pandemic ended up being a good time for me in 2020, and I had a encounter. Well, I shouldn't say encounter because I already knew God, but God had to confront me, and he had to let me know,
Mm.
what are you doing? What are you talking about? You don't have any purpose, that you don't have great things inside of you. So after he told me to write a book. And I said,
Mm.
"Oh no, only important people write books. I can't write no book." And he was, "What do you mean? You're not important?"
Mhm.
And through that and other ministers, um, and things, I kept hearing God telling me to write a book. And that's
Mhm.
when I wrote my first book, Not You. Why not you? Because I feel like God was talking right to me to say, "You mean not you? Why not
Mhm.
you? I made
Yeah.
you. What, you
Mhm.
think I just made everybody else special and I just left you out? No, you have so many gifts inside of you." So he told me to write the book, and after I told him all the reasons why I couldn't, and he just told me to write, and I was obedient and I wrote, and
Mhm.
now it's an encouragement to others who don't know. Talking about not you, no, why not you? God has
Yeah.
made you so important. He has put so many seeds that it's just waiting to grow
Yeah.
in you if you would just give them a chance to open them up. So
Yeah.
that's how my first book came about, you know.
Like, I want to get into that book, but there's so many important things that you said in there that I want to unpack so people don't miss the blessing and the lesson that you just
Mm,
bestowed upon them. And that is, we all have gifts, right?
mm,
And they've been planted into us. And the
yes.
key that you said here was, to be obedient
Yeah.
and you know, sit down and write, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the gift that he gave you at
Yeah.
that time. And a lot of reasons why people miss their blessing is because they're not being obedient to
Hmm.
what they've been called to do, and that's their gift.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we when life is happening, like I used to tell somebody, actually, I just had this conversation with her, like I said, when life is happening, sometimes when we're faced with despair or whatever's happening in our life, we think it's happening to me. Life is happening to me. But
Yeah.
I said you need to refrain that thinking that life is happening for you, right?
Hmm.
And this is God trying to get you to either one, I need to put these pains on you so you can become what you need to become for the next season, or I need to put these pains to redirect you because you don't see your gift and your blessings. I need you to get down the right path because you walking down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Or it's three, I need you to see these things so that you can now reflect on it and teach others, right?
Yes. Very.
A- And so you have to just figure out how life is happening for you, because once you figure out how life is happening for you, you can sit down and be obedient and do what you mentioned, which is your book, not you, why not you, how God gives us all purpose. Um, and elaborate on me after you started reading this book. When did you finally realize yours?
Um. It still wasn't instant. He was still working on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still a work in progress as today. It's not like, oh, I have it all together. I definitely don't. But I am, if you knew me before, you know, I have really made a change. I have really,
Mm.
my confidence level has really gone up. I mean, the fact that I'm on this podcast will tell you right now, if anybody know me, I wouldn't do this. What I have to say, I don't have anything to say. You
You got plenty to say, sis, and I'm
know?
glad you're doing it here with us because we family now.
Yeah. So so with that, it started there, and then um and that kind of gave me a confidence when I actually was able to write it and get it published. I was like, okay, okay. And then it led to my other book was Spontaneous Kiss,
Hmm.
was God speaking to you when you're trying to decide to walk out on this purpose. You get a
Hmm.
little like, okay, all right, now I'm out here, Lord. You told me to come out here. Now what am I doing? And it's like you think about, it's like spontaneous, like all of a sudden, and the kiss is
Hmm.
intimate. So God gets close.
Mm.
He lets you know it's okay, and you're going to be okay. You are right. So when you're out here and you're stepping out in this faith that he told you to go out there and step out and do, the book lets you know it's okay when you're out there. It's going to be okay. I'm with you. I'm encouraging you. You are okay. This is, so it led, like, it was almost like a progression from knowing that
Yeah.
you are important enough that you can and will be able to do things. Okay, God, I'm being obedient. Now I'm out here. Now what? You
Hmm.
gotta walk with me here. You gotta be with me, and you gotta be close. So it's like those things. Like it's like it gives you quick inspiration, quick encouragement to say, God, you got me right. You have me right. That's right. I can do this. I can do this. So that's
Man.
how that progress happened.
Yeah.
So that's where I've been learning how to live. You know.
Man. And that gives me the thought, the scripture of, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean upon your own understanding.
That's
In
right.
all your ways, take notice of him, and he himself will lead your path straight.
That's right. That's right.
And I want to pause and give you your flowers for a second, because most people don't even get one book out, and you just dropped the second book. You said my second book. I like. Okay, come on now. Some people don't get one book. She said my second book. I was like, okay, okay, now she just flexing on us, y'all. Like she, I'm just
I'm just
messing.
giving God his glory because I didn't know I could do it. If you would have
Yeah.
asked me, I know you're crazy. No way. Uh,
Now look,
uh
every so every purpose driven path comes with its own share of trials. Can
yes.
you kind of share a specific challenge you faced that tested your faith or your direction, and how you overcame it?
Well, testing my faith has been a lot where um when I decided, like I keep saying, I decided this, okay, Lord, I'm gonna try this. I'm afraid, but I'm gonna try it. And
Mhm.
then when you have other people who kind of don't see it in you, because everybody's not encouraging, everybody's not, you know, supportive, to be honest. And so I had some people would tell me, and I would tell them, God is telling me to do this or do that, and like an empowerment journey. I want to do that, but God didn't tell me that. Um, I don't know. You sure you want to do that? And I literally, actually, my pastor told me that, and I cried. I said, God didn't tell you that? Well, he told me that, and that hurt a lot. So that gave me a little pause and a kind
Mm,
of a step back, because I said, well, I'm just trying to encourage and send hope, and I'm trying to do the right thing, Lord. So why wouldn't you bless that?
mm,
You know, and after a while of kind of going through and having to pray and cry and wonder and ask, I had to realize that I did give it to you. But just because I gave it to you don't mean that's where you're supposed to give it to. Because
mm,
maybe he doesn't see that. But maybe you don't supposed to be there and do that. Maybe I want
mm,
you to go out into the world. Because sometimes we don't realize that when something doesn't work, we think it must be it is over. No, you got to try on another part. Well, maybe I wasn't supposed to do it there, but maybe I'm
yeah.
supposed to do it over here.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have so much more freedom to do it the way God has shown me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we don't realize if it'll work, you'd have been stuck inside of a box, and God don't want us to be stuck. He has so many
And I think,
open up. He don't want us to be stuck.
yeah, man, he doesn't. He doesn't. And I think, sometimes when we get stuck is because um we're leaning on our understanding of how we need to fulfill it, right? And you know, it's almost like sometimes when you have this gift that's been given to you and you have these great ideas and he gives you the vision, right? And then you
Mhm.
take that vision that you have and you give it to your mom or somebody who's close to you. And it could be somebody you love or somebody who's close to you, right?
All the
And they don't see the vision, right?
time.
And that's because it was your vision. He gave it to you.
Mhm.
They got their own vision. They
Yeah.
can't see your vision because it's your vision and it's eternal. And so you got to look internal to you
Mhm.
and then find the path to make that vision come to fruition.
Right.
And you know, you can't rely on somebody else to help you put that vision together because
Yeah.
it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. And then it's your kind of your duty to make it to come to fruition. Then after it comes to fruition, they could probably see it. But while you creating it, they can't see that because it wasn't given to them. And I think that's the hardest lesson to learn sometimes
Yeah. When
when you're in this.
the people you love the most and you think so much of doesn't see it in you, it kind of it can crush you. It crush you a lot, and
Yeah.
and it kind of can make you do a step back, like I said, and say, "Well, God, I thought that's what you wanted me to do."
Hmm.
And if you don't have that time with Him and let Him get you through it, and let Him know that, so He can let you know, I did give it to you. But you know it's not a simple straight path sometimes, as we sometimes say. Path
Yeah.
not always straight. God, it's going
Mm.
to be um left, right,
All around.
down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this life is not a straight path. You're gonna have detours. You're gonna have different things. You got to turn around sometimes, but you're gonna get to where you supposed to be if you let God lead you. So you just gotta know when to stand, when to sit, when to say, "Okay, God, you tell me what you want me to do," because I'm thinking I'm doing right. So that door is closed for a reason. I don't supposed to go
Mm.
through that door. So and I think once we learn that, it makes things a lot easier, that, than if
Yeah.
this, we think that every door is supposed to be open to us, because every door is not for us. Every door is not for us.
Yeah. And I think that's easiest for us to see now. But and first of all, that's a very powerful testimony. I want to give you that. But I'm thinking about like when those doors close and you think that's the door, like, what keeps you grounded, or how do you keep grounded during that season? Because I think that's often the toughest part.
Well, you will hope that you have a great support system. And a support system doesn't have to be who you think it is. If it's your children, if it's your wife, your husband, if it's your neighbors, if your friends. Because I've come to find out that the people who have been down for me the most has been the
Hmm.
people that shocked me. It's been my neighbors, you know. My kids and my family have been so supportive, and some of the people who told me they was going to be with me wasn't with me. So I've come to find out, if somebody told me before, that sometimes you get to pick your family, and I've been blessed enough to pick my family, because some of the people who have supported me through the whole thing is somebody you be like, what, your neighbor? Yeah, they're like my
Mm-hmm.
family. They are down for me more than my blood was. And
Mm-hmm.
so they keep me grounded when I want to shrink back, when I want to go back into my little hole, which is easy to do because it's already, like, when you say like the insecurity or whatever, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't just go away, but it got kind of pushed down, and I'm trying to fight through it to say, no, I am enough. Yes, I am important. I can do this. God has called me to this. So my great faith in him, which is one, and then my support system, which is my husband and my children and my neighbor, my mother. It's like those are the people that keep me going when I'm like, they don't want to hear me. No, maybe I'm supposed to do this. I'm just done. I'm just done. And they say, no,
Mm-hmm.
you're not done. You're helping somebody. Don't let
Yeah.
one or a couple people tell you, or you get a negative report, stop you from what you're doing. Because somebody is being helped by what you're doing. Somebody needs to hear that they are important, that God has a purpose for them, that God knows them and God sees them. Act like he had to tell you, your job
Mm-hmm.
to tell somebody else. And somebody's listening. Somebody wants to hear it. Somebody needs to hear it. And you are the one that's supposed to tell it. Do
Yeah.
your part. And that's your part. And I gotta get built back up. And I'm like, okay, let's try it again.
Nah. And I think sometimes we forget how many people's lives we touch when we stay obedient to our journey and what we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do. Me setting up this podcast, and there's been a lot of milestones in my career, even from throughout my journey,
Right.
and even most recently. And because I hit that milestone in my
Mm-hmm.
career, you know, I've been overwhelmed with people telling me how much my meeting that milestone and journey has
Mm-hmm.
meant so much to them,
That's great.
because they got to see me do it, or they watched my testimony, or they heard me speak.
Yeah.
And we forget how many lives we touch just by just being who we are, right?
Yeah.
Is a gift.
I
And
would.
then being in our purpose is a
Mm-hmm.
gift that allows somebody else to heal, or somebody else to grow, or somebody else to rise up.
Right.
And I think we don't put enough attention. It's not, because sometimes we always looking like, oh, why am I doing this? Should I be doing this? And then what's the purpose? I shouldn't do this for this purpose because I'm not this or that, or
Mm-hmm.
everything that gets into our head.
Yes. So they said we could beat ourselves up more than anybody else can beat us up, and tell ourselves how, you can't do that. What are you doing? And
Hmm.
I know I can beat myself up from up to down.
Nah,
So why
that.
be doing what I'm doing? What's wrong with me and everything. But
Hmm.
I gotta keep believing that if one person hears it, if one person is encouraged, if one person is empowered, if one person realizes that God loves them, if one
Hmm.
person say God sees me and I do have purpose, then I done did what I was supposed to do. So I gotta keep holding on to that when I feel like, nope, I can't give
Hmm.
up. Even when I want to, when I feel really like downcast or pushed aside,
Hmm.
and I got to know that this purpose is greater than me. It's not
Nah.
it's not for me. It's for others. God gives you stuff for others. He didn't give it to me for me. He gave it to me to give it to the world. So
Yeah.
that's what I do. And even when it's hard, even when it's tough, even when I want to give up and say, no, nobody cares. It's too
Nah.
hard. Too hard.
Nah.
It's too
And
hard.
but you got to keep holding on, like you said earlier. I'll keep holding on.
I,
um, and you got to surround yourself with the right people, like you said earlier, like the family. So here's my take on family. Like you don't have to agree with me on this one because
mm-hmm,
you know, I separated in two buckets. I got relatives, you know, I got those people who related to me,
mm-hmm,
they blood, and then I got family. Now, some of my relatives is family, and some of them ain't, because we just don't share the same values, and they
yeah.
don't rock with me like that, or they don't have my best interest. They just have out for self. That's not family. They relatives.
Yeah, you stole the words out of my mouth because that's exactly the point I was trying to make. You know, we have people who are relatives and we have people who's family, you know, and just
Mm,
because they're related to you, just because they have your bloodline, don't mean they for you. And I've come to
mm.
find that out a lot. So, yep. So you stole the word right out of my mouth. I'm right there with you.
Man, it was a, and it's a journey. It's a
Oh,
long learning lesson. You'll learn it as soon as you start walking in your purpose,
oh,
right?
ain't that deep now?
And see how the switch up starts to happen. Like, hold on, wait a
Uh,
minute now. How do we
no,
get here?
you know, oh, they ain't with you no more. Oh, you ain't doing what you
Man.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I couldn't benefit from I can't rock with you no more, right?
Mhm.
Or you owe me something because da 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 da. I'm
Oh,
like,
oh,
well,
yeah.
how do I
Mhm.
still owe you something? Like, why do you feel like I owe you something?
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely relatives and family, you know.
Yeah,
That is ooh.
but that's a
If
whole nother podcast. We
yeah,
about to we go.
yeah, because then we know where we at. Then we don't have to be so hurt or upset or get angry because we already said, well, you know, okay, that's my relative and this is my family, so I know
Mm,
what category to put them in. So
yeah,
so so you can walk a little better because if you don't, you will always be upset or angry or something
man,
because you're like, well, who you supposed to be? No, nope, know what category, put them in the right category.
man.
You love
Because I
them
got
and all
man.
want the best for them, but
Man.
I
And you
don't.
can put them right where they need to be, right? Because I
Everybody,
got, like you said, I got friends who I consider family
yeah,
because when I ain't had nothing or when I needed a place to stay or
mm-hmm,
they 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 offered the clothes off their back, they offered me shelter, they
mm-hmm,
didn't ask for nothing in return. Celebrated all my wins
yeah,
and didn't ask for nothing in return.
mm-hmm,
Like that's family right there,
family,
right?
family,
That's
yeah,
family.
that's family.
Yeah. Now, you know, I want to get into some of your strategies and success because you've since built platforms, published 5 books. First, get the people the 5 books, and now you're speaking into people's lives regularly. I would say, what are some key strategies and habits that helped you grow? And also, give me the name of these 5 books that you got out there.
Um, so it's not you, why not you? Spontaneous kiss, finding your smile,
Mm,
powerful petals, and jewels for your journey.
mm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, what were some key strategies or habits that helped you grow from the young lady that said, "I'm not enough. I don't got a book in me," and I somehow wrote a book. To 5 books later, we here.
You said, how did I get there?
Yeah, like what do you think some key strategies and habits that helped you grow and be successful to get from writing that first book to now where you're
Mm.
now on your 5th book?
Um, I would say not giving up, being
Mm-hmm,
determined. Um, um, not shrinking back when you want to. Um,
mm-hmm,
and not to say that I don't want to give you the wrong idea to say, oh, I'm happy all the time and nothing. No, no, I'm not saying.
mm-hmm,
But I my one of those things I always say, and I like to say to people, is that you may feel something wherever don't stay there.
mm-hmm,
Don't stay in that depression, in that sadness, in that self doubt, in that whatever. You gotta learn. I had to learn how to pick myself up and decide that I'm not gonna be a victim anymore. I'm not gonna sit in this anymore, because I heard somebody say one time, they said, you used to wear this coat of self-doubt, used to wear this coat of depression and stuff, but you're learning they don't fit you anymore. Stop trying to pick it back up. Stop trying to you pick it up, but you say it don't fit me no more. I gotta put it back down.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that just constantly, the belief in God, my support system, my family, just being determined to that I'm going to do this because I know I'm supposed to. I had to keep coming back to your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Your why is so important. It will keep you focused. It will keep you focused when you just want to, just as they say, throw in the towel and say it's over. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing this. It's too hard. So that's my thing. I just try to keep, why am I supposed to be doing this? What is my purpose? What
Mm-hmm.
am I supposed to do? So I'm determined to do it even when I get knocked down, even when I get pushed to the side, even when I feel like it's not helping. I got to know
Mm-hmm.
that God wouldn't put me out here for nothing. Even when I feel like it, I
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm not. I am helping somebody. I got to keep that in mind. That
Nah,
I got to keep that in my head.
nah, and knowing your why is so important. I remember an auntie of mine once said to me, because when I was a youngster and I was always being a knucklehead, hanging out with the wrong crowd, but I was also known, in my family as, a joyful kid. I was like kind of a class clown, a little jokester, but there was times you see me on the corner hanging out with the tough dudes and, having this, persona. And the auntie said to me, like, why you out there hanging out
Mhm.
with them thugs and
Right.
hooligans that not happy. That's not even you.
Mhm.
Why you hanging out with them? You like you a happy kid. You like to clown around. You like
Right.
you like to see the best for everyone, but you over there hanging out with them for why? And that's why knowing your why is important and knowing who you are and staying committed to that. Because if
Mhm.
not, you'll find yourself over in a whole nother territory, hanging out with people that ain't even aligned with your values and who you are and your
Right.
why, and
Mhm.
going down a path that ain't even your path.
Right.
And it took me a while to learn that lesson, but you know, you got to start with your why. Simon Sinek has has a book that I read that he has with Start with Why, and it was a powerful book for me to understand, your why, because you get grounded in your values and you get a little bit more grounded in your purpose, and you can stay on the path and not go down a path that wasn't meant for you. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm sitting with I know there's going to be a lot of people inspired by your journey, and there's people who have a purpose or a book in them. Um, what would you give them as advice on, you know, how to get started and just getting the words out on paper and then going through the technical process of getting your first book out there? Like, what was your give them some advice in your stages of how you did it?
So what I did was, my first thing was, um it was actually, when people sometimes they say, actually start writing, and sometimes you feel like you're stuck. But for me, I felt, you know, which almost sounds like it's not fair. I feel like God was just telling me, and I was writing it down. I don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
but I believe that the first thing, you gotta just start, like anything. Whatever you think of, put it down. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
you come up with, put it down. And before you know it, you done got a collection of something that you didn't even know
Mm-hmm.
you had. So it started just little by little. I just start writing,
Mm-hmm.
and something would come to me, and I would write it. Then I would go back and edit it and kind of fix it and try to see how I was supposed to put it together. And something else would come to me. It was some middle of the night things, and I'd be like, I can't sleep. And then I had to get up and I had to write it down. So sometimes that was kind of things too, and I just had write down. And then after a while, um, a book came out. So it's the process of just starting, which is the key
Man.
things. You gotta start. Um, which was hard for me because I like to know what's going on. I need to know step by step what be happening. So this was another test for me to just like to actually just do and trust. So you kind of got, especially if you believe that you're supposed to be writing, it'll come. It'll
Mm-hmm.
come. Just do your little by little, and before you know it, you'll have it. What you need
Yeah.
to give to the people and what you need to put down. Just little by little, it'll come together. I know you get a little frustrated, but sometimes you can't force it. Sometimes it'll just come. Sometimes it just comes, but you got to know that this is what you're supposed to do. And then when you get it, whenever it is, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, if
Mm-hmm.
it's 1 o'clock in the day, try to have something you can write it down, record it or something, so you can kind of put it together. And once that happened for me, that's how it happened. It just like after a while, just it came together and a book was written.
Nice. Um, Now you got the words on paper. Give me the technical process. How does one begin to really put a book together? Like, do you go on Canva, put all the sheets, and then go to Amazon and print the thing, or do you go to a book company and they go like, give me what's the technical next step? I got all the words on paper now. What like how do I actually get this to a technical process of getting the book out there?
The technical process depends on you, because you could do it both ways. I have done it both ways. I have
Oh, okay.
published and I have published through a publisher.
Mm,
So once you get it to, if you want to do it through a publishing company, once you get it together, most of the time you send them your manuscript. They
mm-hmm,
read it, they approve it. If they like it, they'll work with you. And most of the time, they'll do the work for you. They'll edit
mm-hmm,
it, they'll fix it, they'll format it, they'll put it out there for you. So it's all about getting it out there. They haven't approved it. And once they approve it, most time you really don't really have to do much work. It's all about how much you're willing to spend. Now, when you do it that way, of course, it's more expensive because they're doing the work. They have to pay everybody to edit, to put it together, to print it out for you. Every time somebody need it. Or if you
mm-hmm,
want to self-publish, you get more of your actual words out there. So you can, because sometimes when you put it in a publisher hand, sometimes they tell you you can't write this, you can't write that. But when
mm-hmm,
you do it yourself, you kind of can say what you want. So it's all about what's important to you. And
mm-hmm,
once you do that, you can go on Amazon. I went on Barnes and Nobles, and they kind of help you in the process. You put in, you upload the manuscript, you find your cover, you upload that, you put it
mm-hmm,
together, and they kind of bind it for you. So I've done
mm-hmm.
it both ways. Self-publish is of course a little cheaper, and it's kind of if you want your words out there. Like I don't want anybody changing what I'm saying. Um, if you don't want to have a lot of work to do, just give it to them. As long as you're willing to spend the money, then going through a publisher is a better thing. Because once you find a publisher, you send it to them, and you decide if you want to work with them. Because mostly they do all the work if you want to do it that way. But if you want to
Yeah,
self-publish, more work, but it's cheaper. So it's kind of like whatever you know,
yeah.
you're in the process of what do you want to do.
Gotcha. Do you
Mm.
have a preference? Like, what, like, if you had to choose one over the other, what would you choose?
You know what? I don't. No, I do. I do like to self-publish because
Uh huh.
sometimes the way I say things, I want it to come the way I want them to hear me. So I
Gotcha.
do like that, and it's a little cheaper. So I do like that.
Yeah.
Now, going through a publisher is easier because I don't. With them, I don't have to. I don't know all sometimes the technical things and how to put things together and bind, all that stuff. So a lot of times I
Yeah.
like that too because then they do the work for me. I don't have to worry about if it's edited. If I self-publish, I got to make sure all that stuff is right.
Yeah.
If I publish, I don't have to worry about it. They'll make sure all the English is right and everything
Mm-hmm.
in the right place. And if you order it from Amazon or from another store, they'll send it to them. If I
Mm-hmm.
self-publish, sometimes depending on how I do it, I have to either send it myself, unless I do it through Barnes and Noble or Amazon.
Yeah.
So I kind of say I like them both, but I would say self-publish a little better because I do like what my words. I want them to hear me and what I'm.
Yeah. So you get the
So I
full essence of you and your words in this original.
Yes.
framework that
Because
it
they'll
came out.
you can't say that, from a publisher point of view. They'll change your stuff sometimes. So
Mm,
they can publish it. Well, if you want me to publish it, we have to change it to this way or that way. And
yeah,
sometimes you don't want that. But if you're
yeah,
fine with that, self-publishing, especially if you have the money, do it because it's less work.
yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I can see the pros and cons on both sides.
Yeah.
Like on average, what like give me the cost difference on average. Like what is the average cost I need if I go through a publisher? What's the average cost that I might need for if I self publish?
Well, it's definitely cheaper. If you go to a publisher, it's going to be thousands of dollars. The last time it was like when I did it, it was almost 6,000,
Mm,
and that was a few years ago. So it could be a whole lot more now, and it also depends
yeah.
on who you go through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, self-publishing, not really much. Long as if you're willing to do the work, it's not really. Only thing you'll get taxed on the end where sometimes the money that come out you make because you got to share
Mm-hmm.
the profit with them almost
Yeah.
sometimes, so you don't get as much um you know
Yeah. And this is
you
I'm
know,
assuming this is like with Amazon self publishing, you have to share some of the
yeah, because sometimes you
profit.
have to price your book a certain amount that you want to make enough, you want to make some money, but if you charge too much, people are not going to buy the book, so
Yeah.
it can become a problem too. I
Yeah.
would just to go with Trinity um
Trinity.
Trinity Publishing through TBN.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do that, and they so that's how much they charged me then, but that was a few
Mm-hmm.
years ago, so I don't know how much they charge now.
Yeah. And then so the self publishing, we know the publishing company average around 6,000. It could be more now,
Hmm.
but give me like a ball range number. Is it like a couple of hundred, 200, 300, 400, 500? Like what's the average cost of self publishing of
But you know what,
expenses?
self-publishing really don't cost when you think about it. It's more on the back end of the work more, because
Mm.
if you have a manuscript, as long as it fits the format, you can upload it to Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
Mm.
It's more about so I wouldn't even say it's the money, because it really doesn't cost to self-publish.
Oh,
Not for me. I don't, unless I'm doing something.
okay.
It
Uh,
doesn't cost. It's just kind of like, long as you got the right formats and stuff,
mhm,
and you're willing to do the work. You got to put the stuff in. You got to make sure it's the right format. Make sure it's the right thing, right? Um, you got to set your own price and all that. So it's more about the work.
mhm.
So it's kind of like, it really doesn't cost you anything. And with Trinity, they gave me the price. They didn't tell me. I didn't get a choice on how much it costs. They just told me how much it's going to cost.
Okay.
And so you get to choose the price, but it's
Right.
how much you charge, because depending on how much it takes for them to publish it for you or produce it, you know what I mean, to send it out, then
Mhm.
if your book costs $20, sometimes you may get $7 because they got to take it for their. So,
Mhm.
but then you can't charge too much. Like, well, I'm trying to make $20. Well, you can't make $20 unless you're gonna charge almost $40. And most people
Mhm.
are not going. Well, I'm not gonna say it. It depends. Everybody pays different.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends
But
on your brand
I would say
and
it's really about the work.
yeah.
How much you want to work. So if you want to do, if you're not afraid of the work, or you're good at technology and stuff, I would go self-publish, especially if your voice is important to you.
Yeah.
If you have the money and you're not technically inclined, or you don't feel like that, then I would go with a publisher.
Yeah. Thank you for
So
that.
that's how
These
I
are good insights. I love that. Love
yeah.
that. Now tell me about your latest book. What's the name of your latest? Give the people the name of your latest book, and what do you hope to give people with this book, and what can they find when they purchase this book?
This book, is Powerful Petals.
Mm-hmm.
Is my memoir. And I almost struggled to write it because I felt like, again, who are you to be writing a memoir? You're not famous. who wants to hear you? But I did it anyway. And Powerful Petals comes from when I was a kid, and I always was wondering what my purpose was. And I would ask my mother, Mom, what am I supposed to do? What is my purpose? What is my talent? And she told me, you know what? When God is ready, He's going to open you up like a flower. And you're going to come out, and those petals are going to, be seen. But just wait. Let God open you up. Don't try to open it up yourself. Let God show you what He wants from you. And then when you get it, all these beautiful petals are going to come, and it's going to flourish the world. And I never forgot that so today, that's where I came up with Powerful Petals. So I felt like they're powerful because once God showed me, and I had something important in me, I feel like all these things were starting to come. And these petals are opening. And little by little, I'm showing this beauty that I never knew I had. From looks, maybe my face so blue look okay. Maybe I am kind of smart. Maybe I can write. Oh, I didn't even know. Maybe I could sing. Oh my goodness, I can put on events and different things. And little by little, I'm noticing that I can do all these things that I was like, I thought I couldn't do anything. And now, wait a minute, I could do a lot of things. So it's Powerful Petals. So it's like that journey to find that purpose, to find what I had to go through, the struggles, the hardships, the disappointment, the being knocked down, to tell me, no, not you. God didn't tell me that. You sure you right for that? Oh, I don't know. I don't think He calling you for that. And, struggling with myself and all those things. So it's my journey to get into these powerful petals that God had to keep, keep working on me. Like I said, He's pruning me, and He got to cut me back, and I got to try it again, and I can grow back better. And, and when I get knocked down, and I got to come back up and say, no, I'm going to show what God has given me. I'm going to show it, even when it hurts, when I don't see what He's doing. I got to keep going. So that's what the book is about. It's about my memoir, and also, to people, to let them know that, you have powerful petals in you too. You have seeds of greatness in you too. And you just got to let God work them, on His timing, because our timing don't matter. It's only about what He sees fit.
Yeah, ain't that truth? Like somebody once said, I don't know who said this. I think I saw it on social media somewhere. If you want to make God laugh, tell Him your plans.
Yeah.
'Cause He don't care about your time.
What? Oh, okay.
What's been what would you say has been one of your proudest moments on this journey?
The proudest moments is the people that I get to help. I mean, it's nothing like seeing somebody smile. It's nothing like seeing that I made a difference in somebody's life. I remember doing things like I told you before. It were like people, especially like in church or something, and sometimes it was those people like our kids or something, and they like kind of sitting to the side. Nobody's really talking to them or whatever, and I would go and I would talk to them. And it was one example of this young person one time, and they would start to have autism. And every day I would talk to them. I was always, and ask how they were doing and things like that. And they, so and then after a while, like, they didn't want to be touched, but after a while they would come to me and they would hug me. After a while, I got them to be part of a play. And it was like, how did you do that? I just loved them. That's all I did. I just loved them. And when I've had stories of doing that, and when I look back, I'm like, I've done that a lot. But it was just about loving them, seeing them, because I know what it's like when you're sitting there by yourself and nobody else seems to see you. So I always was drawn to those people or older people who sometimes people feel like, oh, they older, they just sit down somewhere. No, they got too much wisdom for you to be pushing them to the side. So those kind of things, when I feel like I brighten their day, when I make
Mm,
them smile, when I come talk to them, when I show them they could do things they didn't know they could do, you know, that's been my bright points.
I love that. Now, you've worked with so many people through your ministry and events. What are some lessons you learned about purpose and healing?
I learned that it takes time. I
Mm,
learned that every day is a journey, and that's why I call it Empowerment Journey, because it's not going to happen overnight, and you're going to have some setbacks.
mhm,
You have purpose, but in the walking in your purpose is it's not easy. That's not an easy thing to walk in your purpose. Once first thing you find it, that's the first thing, and then once you find it, not to get knocked down so bad that you feel like you can't get up. Um, so try to find those family members. Try to find that group. Definitely got to know God, or
mhm,
that keeps you strong. And I've learned that even when I get set back, I gotta come back. Like He's not done with me. And so when I've learned that even when I feel like I'm done with myself, He's not done with me. So it keeps me to keep going, to keep
mhm.
trying, because you know purpose just keeps growing. It doesn't just stop. If anything, it opens up more and more. And you don't even realize all the things that you could do, or lives you could touch. So I've learned just being determined not to give up, stay focused. When you get knocked down, get up, even if you got to cry and you have to, go not perfect. You got to go anyway.
Man, I was definitely second that. When you really find your gift and you lock into your purpose and you find out what it is and you start to hone in on it, um, it can be for some a scary feeling because now it unlocks new things, right?
Yeah.
It sends you on a new journey and things that you have never done before. But it makes you realize too, you know, it becomes scary because it's you against you, and you are more powerful than you ever imagined you could
Hmm.
be, with your testimony, with your skills, with your talent, with your
Hmm.
insight, with your wisdom. And you sit on the cusp of that, right?
Hmm.
And you sit on the cusp of those voices that sometimes are not even all your own. They could be from relatives, friends, family members, that because they didn't get the vision, that they don't understand
Yeah.
the purpose, and da, da, da. And those are the people that's in your head that you need to like silence that out and sit within your divine self, to seek wholeness. What advice do you have for those in our community who feel stuck, overlooked, or unsure of their purpose?
Well, my advice is to take time, take a minute, um, and seek God, because that's the only way you're gonna find it. Seek what I've heard somebody say, what would you do for free that, something that you love, that if they never paid you for it, you would do it every day, all day long? What do you not get tired of? What draws your heart? What what makes you excited? What gets your heart beating? You know, and that is the key to your purpose. And
Mhm,
once you see like what makes you excited, what gets you going, what you would do, on your free time, what's always on your mind, that kind of stuff keys to your purpose.
mhm,
And then when you're locking a God and ask Him, sometimes you just gotta ask Him. Say, Lord,
mhm,
what do you want me to do? Because I don't know. And He will show you. And sometimes, like I said, He don't always answer when you ask Him either. So sometimes
mhm.
you just gotta step out there and try it. And then And I've learned that. Sometimes I'm like, so God, you want me to do that? You don't hear anything. So you do it. I said, well, it don't seem like it's going to hurt anybody. If anybody, it might help somebody. So I'm going to try
Mm-hmm.
it. So sometimes you just got to try it. See if it works, especially if it's not going to hurt you, try it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you want to write a book, try it. You know, maybe God is calling you, just didn't know it. You know, don't let your doubts stop you because it will. Don't let people, don't let yourself, don't let nothing stop you. Say, you know what, I'm going to try. I'm going to write this book. You know, I want to go to school. I want to be, I want to teach. I want to coach. I want to whatever. What makes your heart sing? Go. What makes your heart sing and try it. Because all you can do, what they say, either you win or you learn. No failing.
Mm-hmm.
You just realize, oh, well, that went for me. Oh, harder than I
Mm-hmm.
thought. Oh, I don't like that. So just try it. Just step out there because finding your purpose is usually right there. It's just you just gotta lock into it and say, you know what I always wanted to do it. I love it
Yeah.
when that happens. Yeah. I love being around kids, whatever it is. I love talking to people. I want to be on the radio. I want to be on whatever it is. Try it. Or you
Yeah.
could do
Try
it
it.
and not work, and then you know that you have to move on if
Yeah.
that's not your thing. But sometimes you can't give up right away either, because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if you know it's in you, because that like for me, sometimes I say that, but when I want to give up, but it's something in me that keeps saying, "Do it again, try it again," then
Mm-hmm.
you know that's for you.
Yeah.
When it won't go away,
I
then
love that. When it won't go away.
when it won't go away,
Just try again. As the late great Aaliyah said, if at first you don't succeed,
try.
you dust it off and try
You
again.
got to.
Dust yourself off and try again.
Don't, you
Oh,
will get stuck and you will not do. Oh, it didn't work. Nope. Well, but why does keep sitting inside of you? Why do you keep thinking about this? Why is something about that thing that keeps coming back up as part of your purpose? So
yeah,
you got to follow it and just keep trying until it works. You
yeah.
There's so many stories about people who do that. You know what I mean? Like great authors and publishers and actors and stuff. And you say, and they'll tell you their story, and you be like, wait a minute, now you doing this? Seem like, but you got turned down so many times. But
Mm-hmm.
it was something in them that didn't let them give up. That's when there's something that won't let you give up. Keep following it.
Yeah. There was I can't remember a quote I seen of a gentleman who was an inventor. I don't know why it's drawing a blank. I want to say the light bulb, and he found 99 different ways to not or to try and build a light bulb, and on the 100th time that it finally worked, right? And
Yeah,
so all that to say, sometimes it's going to take multiple efforts before you get to that place, but you'll learn something each step of the way.
yeah,
So keep trying,
yeah.
Charmaine.
Like Michael Jordan. Remember, people would say all the time, like people told him, "Oh, how many times he said he got turned down, and look at him, that he's still considered one of the greatest of all times."
All
They
time.
want him at first. I think Walt Disney was somebody else. I don't know if it was Walt Disney or Dr. Seuss or something. They thought their teachers and stuff would tell them they were crazy. Well, nobody wants that,
Man.
and people still buying their books. So you just got to know what you know and know what God is telling you. When something is in you and it just won't go away, that's what I've come to find out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to give up and they say, try it again, do it again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
somebody sees it, somebody hears it, somebody needs you. And sometimes that is, I don't want to mess up and say, well, somebody needed something from me.
Yeah.
Mm. I,
Speaking of,
I was afraid or, you know,
man, I'm going back to the Michael Jordan thing because Michael Jordan is one of my favorite players. He's my goat, greatest of all
yeah.
time. I don't Kobe and LeBron fans don't at me. Michael Jordan's gonna be my goat. There's nothing you can say to me.
Right.
That's my goat. And there's one quote that I remember of his, and he says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've
Mm.
lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game winning shot and missed. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And like that just sits with me
Mhm.
because, at the end of the day, um, when you are walking in your purpose and you go through all these failures and you hit this level of this greatness that you start to hit that people don't remember the failures, they just remember how you made them feel,
Mhm.
and the successes and the things that they learned through your journey that helped them heal and grow, right?
Right.
um and to be seen, heard, and felt is such a human experience that we I think we sometimes underrate, overlook, or look past. And that's failure is a part of the journey, right?
Mhm.
And I hope more people just fall in love with the journey of becoming and what that does for them and what it does for others. So with that, because I could talk to you for hours and days, but I don't do the Joe Rogan type podcast. I want to say, Charmaine, this has been an incredible conversation. Thank you for your heart, your honesty, and your calling. But before we wrap up, where can our listeners stay connected with you and get this new book?
Um, yeah, you can I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Empowerment Journey 1 on
Mhm.
Instagram and on Facebook, Powerful Petals. I have a website on Wix and .com. And I have you can go on Barnes and Nobles and find my books. YouTube and Powerful Empowerment Journey 1. And you go on YouTube and you can see some of the things that I do, speaking to other people, trying to help them find their purpose in their corner of the world.
Mhm.
So if you look up Empowerment Journey 1, look up my
Mhm.
name. If you look up my name, you'll find all of it. Just look
Yeah.
my name up and you'll find me on, Christian women speakers. You'll find
Mhm.
my Instagram, my Facebook, my books, and you can just reach out to me, and
Yeah.
you know, I just want to do my part and help and encourage and inspire.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So she out there, y'all. She ain't
I'm
hard to find.
out here.
Um, y'all go support her. And to our listeners, if this episode spoke to your soul, share it with a friend. Leave us a review and follow us on all platforms at Rise Urban Nation. Stay rooted, stay rising, and we'll see you next week for another conversation that empowers and elevates. Peace.